Let me tell you a story. A story about a game that didn't just launch, it exploded. Not with bombs, not with bullets, but with bare skin, bodysuits, and bedroom fantasies. This is the story of Stellar Blade and how it got naked in record time. It all started with a demo, a harmless, slick little teaser dropped on Steam ahead of its full release. Just a test, a taste, a chance to swing the sword, dash through neon alleyways, and take control of Eve, our hyper-stylized, leather-bound, impossibly perfect protagonist. Her movements, precision. Her body, engineered for agility, and designed with fan service in mind. You could see it, feel it, even before you played. Shift Up didn't just craft a character, they sculpted a symbol, one the internet couldn't keep its hands off. 72 hours, that's all it took. In just 3 days, Stellar Blade went from a stylish action RPG to a full-blown NSFW modding battlefield. Not months, not weeks, days, less than a long weekend. And the modders, they weren't just quick, they were hungry. They cracked open the demo, rifled through the code, and did what modders do best: undress the game. The top 3 mods are all nude. Not slightly edited, not suggestive, just naked. Fully, shamelessly nude. Nude inner suit, Eve's Kensuit semi-nude, EV09 lucency, names that sound like secret code words in a cyberpunk strip club. But they're not fiction. These are real mods, real downloads, real popularity, and real proof that no matter how polished your gameplay is, sometimes the community only wants one thing: skin. Let's not pretend we didn't see it coming. Eve's default design was already walking a thin line. Skin-tight outfits, high heels, slow camera pans across her figure. The devs knew what they were doing. Sony knew. Everyone knew. You don't make a character like Eve by accident. You make her knowing she'll be adored, debated, and yes, inevitably, undressed. But the pace? That's what stuns me. We've seen sexy characters before. Bayonetta, 2B, Quiet from Metal Gear. But Stellar Blade didn't even wait for release. It happened at demo. The appetite was already there, lurking, waiting. And the moment the PC build dropped, boom! The gates opened, the thirst flooded in. And it's not just the usual suspects either. You've got beautification mods, to yassification for a character who's already pushing the beauty bar to the edge. You've got mods that slap raunchy posters on vending machines, mods that change archive portraits to pinups. This isn't just about naked bodies. It's about bending the entire game world into something drenched in lust and voyeurism. And look, I get it. I really do. Stellar Blade is a good game. Great even. The combat? Slick. The world? Electric. The lore? Deep enough to drown in. But all of that is now standing in the shadow of one simple truth. This is the thirst game. No matter how fast you parry, no matter how intense the boss fights get, the only thing the internet sees is Eve's curves, her backflips, the bounce physics, the mod potential. It's no longer about gameplay. It's about gaze. What's wild is that Stellar Blade was already teetering on the edge with its official content. Shift Up pushed the boundaries of what's allowed on PlayStation without turning the game into AO territory. Outfits so tight, they might as well be body paint. Camera angles designed to make streamers blush. And then, on PC, it's like that final barrier crumbled. Sony may have tried to keep things clean on console, but Steam doesn't care. Steam is a sandbox, a playground, a mother's Wild West. And the fans didn't just run to it, they sprinted. Should we be surprised?
Probably not. This is gaming in 2025. This is what happens when hypersexual design meets modding freedom and social media virality. X, TikTok, Reddit, they all erupted with GIFs, clips, screenshots of Eve's modded forms. And not just from shady accounts. These were top posts, trending, celebrated. Because we live in the age of the terminally down bad gamer. A world where beautiful characters aren't just admired, they're objectified, memed, stripped down and modded until nothing sacred remains. Where a great game like Stellar Blade becomes a thirst trap first and an RPG second. Where devs walk the line between art and arousal, knowing full well what'll get them trending. Some say this is progress, modding freedom, artistic exploration. Others say it's degeneration, a failure of taste, an insult to game design. But me? I think it's a reflection, a mirror. And in that mirror, we see a truth most don't want to admit. Games like this are selling fantasy. And fantasy is almost always about control. We want to control Eve, not just in gameplay, but in appearance, in form, in clothing, or lack of it. Mods give us that. Power over pixels, power over perfection. And that's dangerous. Because once you start customizing beauty, you start to lose touch with reality. What happens next? When the full version drops on June 11, the modding flood will become a tsunami. Entire NSFW overhauls, body morphs, pose tools, full-blown adult content. Nexus mods will burst at the seams, and Eve, our powerful, capable heroine, will become a symbol not of strength, but of fetish. And that hurts, because Stellar Blade deserves better. Yes, it's sexy. Yes, it leans into its aesthetics. But it's also a labor of love. Combat, exploration, emotion, it's all there. Shift Up built something that could stand next to Nier Automata, Devil May Cry, even Bayonetta, but it's getting buried under layers of lust. So here we are, 3 days, 33 mods, 1,000 fantasies. And all I can think is, what if this wasn't the legacy? What if Eve had been designed not for thirst, but for respect? What if we gave her story the spotlight instead of her figure? But I know the answer. That was never the plan. The truth is, Stellar Blade was always going to be the mother's playground, a siren song for the digitally horny, a lightning rod for controversy, praise, and parody. Shift Up didn't just make a game, they made a phenomenon. And in doing so, they created a new kind of heroine, one who fights monsters, one who saves the world, and one who within 72 hours was naked on every modding site on Earth. Welcome to Stellar Blade. Welcome to the future of fandom. Welcome to the game that got undressed faster than any in history. Now press start and try, just try, not to look.